Today was a tough day, and that's okay. Everyone has them. I know I look a little crazy. I think that this will definitely gain my audience's attention and really allow you guys to understand introduction of how some of my days go. And that's okay. I wanted to make sure that my audience knew that you guys are not alone if you have tough days and if you have hard days. So I am here post cry sesh tough when you think about it. So what I want to do here is definitely show you guys a little bit about me, my family, and then my balance and what that looks like for me and just kind of talk through that. So here we go. Okay, so I created this for you guys. I kind of wanted you guys to get an understanding of how my life looks and what my life looks like and how I go about balance. And so let's just get right into that. Before I begin, I kind of wanted to talk about what my day looked like today. And it was definitely tough. I think that some days are just a struggle because I get overwhelmed with what I have going on, and that's okay too. That they're not alone. And that's great, and I love that for them, and some people feel like they are, and so I'm here to tell you that you're not. Post-cry sesh, I am here, I wanna show you guys what's going on, I wanna show you guys what I'm talking about today, and so here we go. So I created this for you guys, and it's definitely, my life in balance, exactly what the title says, my life in balance, and so to go from that, I just wanna talk about my family and I. So to start, over here, we have one of my closest family friends. Her name is Caitlin. We actually go on an Easter trip every year, to the border. I'm sorry, close to the border. And we have a lot of fun. And so I just wanted you guys to see that. This is my sister. She is 19 years old, almost 20 years old. And this was last December of 2022. I'm sorry. We went to New York. My uncle is a producer there. And so we went to go visit him and see one of his shows. So that was super exciting. In this picture here in the top right is me, my sister, and my sister-in-law. So we went on a hunting trip a couple weeks ago, and that was super, super fun. My family owns a ranch on the border as well. And so that was super exciting. But I just kind of want to talk through how that looks because since this was a couple weeks ago, I was in school and I had stuff to do. And so I I my problem is I don't want to feel left out, but I also want to people please, and that I feel like is my toxic trait. I think that people pleasing is a good and a bad quality because obviously you want to be there for everyone, but you also don't want to have FOMO. You know what I mean? Like fear of missing out. Like if you don't know what that means. Um I think that it's tough for someone to understand how I do it or how my balance works if they're not in my shoes, and that's okay. So I wanted and I agreed to go on this trip, given it's only 2.5 hours from San Antonio, but I had stuff to get done in the meantime. And so I brought my computer and I did homework on the trip, and it sucked, but to know that I can see the finish line and that I'm going to graduate soon is super, super exciting. Next down here on the right hand side, we have my cousin Veronica. This is my soul sister. Her and I go together like peanut butter and jelly. I'm not kidding you. Y'all saw her on the first interview episode that I did, and I'm so glad that y'all got to hear her feedback as well because we're kind of in the same shoes. And so that's super exciting. This picture here, I am right here. I was in my brother's wedding. So last August, my oldest brother got married. I have three brothers and three brothers and one sister. Um, my brother got married, and so I was in his wedding, and that was super fun. So I wasn't in school at that time. I was about to start school, but it was super nerve-wracking because, right, I'm preparing for a wedding. It's something super, super important to my brother and my family and my friends. And here I am stressing about school. And so that was super hard for me to balance as well. Just kind of thinking of what was to come, right? And so I'm at a wedding and I'm having fun and I'm hanging out with everyone, and then boom, it hits me. I'm like, oh shoot. I start school in a week, right? And so it's definitely tough to think about those things. And do you, in my mind, I sometimes feel that I don't deserve to have those fun times, right? And it's not always, that's not always the case. It's definitely not the case. You deserve to have fun, you deserve balance, and you deserve peace and happiness. And you can do that while still being successful in your career and in your education. Because on top of all of that, on those trips, I went to the border, I went to New York, I went to the border again, I went to College Station for my brother's wedding. I work as well, and so balancing that 40 hours a week on top of trying to people please and be a part of everything that my family has going on is tough. Down here is another picture from when my sister and I went to New York. That was super fun. Here we have my soul sister again, Veronica, and my little cousin Michael and myself. We went to go watch him in Houston play his varsity football game, and so that's super exciting too. And I love to be a part of those things. My little cousins, like those are my little everythings, right? And so him growing up, and he's almost a junior in high school, and him playing varsity football, it's so exciting, and I want to be there and I want to be a part of that with my family. And so that I just felt like was super super special to me. I was able to get a weekend off of work. I don't think I was in school at the time, or I had just started fall semester this past year, where I was able to go watch him, and that was super fun. Also, it's my hometown, so, like, I get to see friends as well. Here is my sister and I again at the border during our hunting trip, and it was just super fun. I love being with my friends and family, but again, to talk about the balance, I'm in school and I work as well, 40 hours a week, and so to go to that hunting trip, I was able to have 2 days off in a row at work. To go to New York, I actually had to take a week off of work, which sucks because when you think about it, like, bills as well, right? Like we're all human. Um, my brother's wedding, like I said, I was working, I was not in school yet, or the semester hadn't started yet. And so, yeah, next, we have my work family and I, some people that I hold very near and dear to my heart. So we will kind of go around the screen here. So here we have my friend Andrea and I, and obviously you guys know I work at HEB. So we have HEB Buddy and Andrea and myself, and this was over the summer during my management program at HEB. And so her and I were both training to be curbside managers. And so this was a training class that we went to, and so during this time, my management class was during the summer, and so I didn't have to worry about school, which I was super excited about, but it was definitely tough thinking of how much work I had to do, and then on top of that, I was gonna start school in a couple weeks. Here we have the group of management trainees and myself. We all became curbside managers November 7th, and so that was super exciting, and we all graduated and went through the process together, and they're just, this was at a freshness quality training class, and so they are just amazing, and every single one of them is super important to me, and we had a lot of fun. So that was the most important thing. Again, I was not in school yet, but I was dreading going back. Down here on the right is my friend Angelica. Her and I were in an internship program. Actually, let's see. The summer, or a couple months before I started the management program. So I did my internship May through August, and I did my management program August through November. So it was kind of back to back 6 months of full blown focused on work. And then getting prepared for school, right? So Angelica and I were in the internship together, and that was super, super fun. She is now in the leadership program at HEB, but super exciting, and it was a really fun time. Here we have my group from my internship. They, them and myself, we all worked on a project during our internship about deli shrink. And if you guys don't know what shrink is, that just means loss of money and kind of like what's getting lost in the sauce, if you know what I mean. Um, as far as what can we prevent from happening for the company to not lose money, right? So obviously every company wants to make money. Every company wants to be proactive in what they do, what they can to prevent them from losing money. And so that's what kind of we were working on for 3 months. So that was exciting. This is when I started my management program right after my internship. This was the beginning of my management program I want to say this was in September. This was a class that we had to take, and this guy right here in the middle, he is a part of my group. He's right here as well. And then this guy right here was actually someone I met working at a different store. He is a curbside manager, and him and I became very close working at the same store. This is also my management group with a couple leaders here and here and here. They are all super special to me and super, super important, and they've really paved the way for my career, and I'm super happy with my life. But to say all of that, my work family, I think that balance with that is learning that it's okay to also make friends. It's okay to think about what's to come in the future as far as what you have going on in your life. So if you have school coming up, if you have an event coming up and you're focused on work, it's okay. You just have to find balance, right? So my next slide is going to be my balance. And this is kind of what my life looks like outside of work and school. And so at the beginning of the week, I kid you not, my holy grail is a weekly to-do list for school specifically. Yes, I have one for work, but I kind of keep that at work, right? I don't want to bring that into my house and just get overwhelmed. So in the beginning of the week, this is kind of what my life looks like. It looks like a long, long list. This is just 4 of my 7 classes, right? So it's just a long, long list of things that I need to get done. It's really satisfying for me to write this list. I don't know if I'm the only one, but it's super, super satisfying for me to write this list. And I think that it's definitely helped me throughout my time in school. Now, being a senior, I kind of know what fits me and what my balance is, but that's what works for me. Next, I would say is treat yourself. You deserve to take some time off. You deserve all the nice things, right? And so retail therapy is a real thing, okay? Retail therapy is a real thing. And I think that a lot of people overlook it, but not me. Nope, not me. I am not going to overlook retail therapy. And so this is what's helped me. I'm not saying it's a good habit. My bank account cries, okay? But retail therapy, these are just some shoes I bought recently. And I just wanted to share that because retail therapy is a real thing. Don't knock it until you try it, okay? Next on my balance, this is my godson. He lives in Houston with his mom, my best friend, and he is just such a joy in my life, seriously. And I think that seeing him grow up, he's now 3 or almost 3, about to be 3. It's just crazy because I grew up with his mom, and boom, now we have a little munchkin. Well, I say we, but you know what I mean. He is just so, so sweet. And I think balancing all of that, right? So retail therapy, I have my work list and I get to see him too. Like that's just kind of a cluster of what my life looks like. Being able to see people I love, having my work life, or I'm sorry, school life organized, and then boom, still having some free time to myself to have some retail therapy. So this is kind of what my dashboard looks like on Canvas. 6 classes currently. 1 will end at the end of the first 8 weeks, and I will start another one at the second 8 weeks, and that will equal 7 classes total for my senior year. So that is what I'm working with right now. I'm also working 40 hours a week, and so it gets kind of crazy. You know what I mean? I think that balancing the 6 classes, making sure that I know it's okay to have time for me, aka retail therapy. Making sure I know that I need to have my life organized. Now, not saying you have to be as structured as me, because you don't. You absolutely don't. But I think that once I write my to-do list down and I really understand what's going on, really truly helps me figure out what I can do for the rest of the week, right? So if I am starting the week with my to-do list right here, And I also know I'm gonna save one of my off days for some retail therapy and maybe my other off day to see some people I love. I feel like I have my week figured out, and that really, really helps me. So I recommend 10 out of 10. At the end of the week, this is what my to-do list is going to look like, right? And so you want to be structured and you want to be disciplined within your own balance and your own schedule. But this is so satisfying to me. I don't know if I'm just weird, OCD, whatever. But when my to-do list is getting crossed off, I could not be happier. Do what makes you happy and feel and be okay with the balance. Even if you feel like it may not be working at the time, it's trial and error, right? It's trial and error. Something different works for somebody else. Okay, so what works for you may not work for me. What works for me may not work for you, and that's totally fine. But I love to give advice on it because I want people to know that it's okay for you to fail forward. And that's something that I've always been taught in my career as well, is failing forward. You're allowed to fail. I really hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I really hope you are enjoying this podcast in general. Again, Balancing You is just about lifestyle tips and tricks. Today, again, I had a rough day, right? Second day this week, I've had a rough day. But you know what? I come home from work, I take a breather, maybe eat something, maybe take a cat nap, maybe you're not alone. So, once again, post cry sesh, here I am, alive and in the flesh, to tell you guys that you aren't alone, and Balancing You is just the start of where you want to be. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I am really looking forward to hearing your feedback on it, and please let me know if you have any questions, comments, or reach out. Do not be afraid to email in the description. You will see all of that information down below. But thank you guys so much once again, and make sure you join my email thread to be updated in the latest news of Balancing You.